Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Wife, Marilyn.
Hey, Lance.
Hey, me.
Husband.
So we just got done. It is a Saturday afternoon. We are beat. We just got done showing our house for 6 hours. Is that right? 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.?
Yep.
On the 2018 MA plus DS Boulder Modern Home Tour. And I think we were one of 5 houses?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So what did you think? That was give me your perspective from like a realtor who's done that before. I've never done an open house like that.
Yes. Well, I'm not beat, actually.
I'm seriously tired.
Okay. I'm not too beat. I feel really energized. And what energized me was that I remembered all the great things that I love about our house, and I talked about them all day.
That's interesting.
Because I forgot that when we open the front door and the air goes over our pool, their indoor pool, then it goes out the back door,
and then it cools it
off. I forgot about that and how wonderful and unique that is.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of things like that I got to talk about.
I honestly can't believe you're not tired. I am beat. I had the salesman hat on all day.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did too.
So what did you? That was probably the most amount of time that you've seen me with like a salesman hat on, right?
Probably.
What do you think? What did you think?
What did I think of you?
Yeah. What did you think? Because wasn't that a first perspective?
Yeah, it was. Well, we've been in some meetings, but yeah, you did really well. You made people very comfortable, and you explained things and gave them your perspective on the house because people were very curious.
Yeah. I was man. Well, you get these like little routines now, and I feel like when you start after you've done. Anytime you go to like a market meeting with like a potential client or somebody you're trying to convince to sign the contract with you, I don't know how many you have to do, but like you get into like this sort of routine, right? You probably heard me repeat myself over and over again.
Yeah.
But it gets a lot more comfortable.
Yeah. And did you feel like a lot of people had the same questions for you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the most common thing people were asking you?
They would just the biggest one was first because you're meeting everybody. It's so funny like when you meet people and you know what you're going to say to them. So like hey, I'm Lance Cayko. I'm the or I wouldn't say Lance Cayko. I'd be like, hi, I'm Lance. I'm the architect and the owner. And they would only hear architect first. Do you know what I mean? And there's
that's true.
Yeah. So if you hear, so it's kind of like Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Mm-hmm. It's like. I think there's a chapter in there or something like where it says when you meet people, like they're only gonna remember like one thing or something like that. Like their brain only has the capacity for that. So that's where it would come. So the question that would always come up after that was, you're the owner, and then I'd have to reiterate, yes, I'm the owner also. And then they were surprised. So I don't think there was maybe a lot of owners on these other tours of the houses, right? Like we were probably a unique couple or group that did that like, okay, we're the owners plus we're the architect and the realtor for the whole transaction, right? The only other layer you could add it on is if we were the builder and developer for the whole thing.
I'm pretty sure that was very unique just to our house. And so people were only able to process first that you were the architect. That's funny.
Yeah. So then I would explain to them. So then they would ask. Then they were asking. So then it kind of like was an icebreaker, and they would ask all kinds of then questions about, how long have you guys been here? And then it would kind of lead into, okay, we've been here for 2 years, and then they would ask about our property in our neighborhood, which is unique. Because with all with all the open space and everything that we had, then I would get into like this, and then I literally would bring them like over to the corner of a place in our dining room and show them like, oh yeah, we used to live over here, and here's how we ended up selecting the piece of land and stuff like that. So going into it, how many people did you expect just to see? And actually, let me back up before you answer that question. So to give everybody a little bit of perspective about how we got selected. So there is this group who put this together is, you should look them up. If you go to our Facebook page, you can find it. But if you just Google what I said, and I'll tell you one more time, it's 2018 MA plus DS. That's all one word, the MA plus DS, Boulder Modern Home Tour. So look those guys up. They started doing it in Austin about 10 years ago, and they said the planner and the gentleman who put it together, he said he started out with like 200 to 300 people in the first year that he did it. And now it's up to 1,500 people that come in that day. That would be like mind-blowing to have that many people in your house. Mm-hmm. So he came in at the end, and I asked him how he found F9. And he said, he didn't tell me exactly, but he said, you are like selected. Like they only select certain people and reach out and contact. So made me feel special right away. Yeah. And then obviously we both felt special and like, oh my God, we got selected to do it. But what I didn't expect out of the whole thing was since it was there, and he made it clear it was their first year, and our house was like the furthest north. So how many people were you expecting, honestly, to be there?
Our house was the furthest north by 15 miles.
I think 15 miles, because the rest of them were in Boulder-ish.
And if you're a listener not in Boulder, Boulder County, people who live in the city of Boulder, it's like this joke that they don't like to leave.
25 miles, 25 square miles surrounded by reality.
Yeah, and it's true.
Is what it is.
They like to do everything that they do in Boulder. Yeah. And so I was expecting a dozen.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, and then the lead up to it. So, if the reason why I'm doing this podcast is, number one, Alex and I didn't have time to do it yesterday. But the equally important reason is because I think this is a unique one that we could do to give anybody else who's an architect or a real estate person like my wife is, or anybody who has a really nice custom house, of how you can use that to gather and garner more business leads out of it, and the approach that we took leading up to it. So first of all, so we thought, the location was going to be a bummer and everything, but the lead up to it is a lot of work, right? So like yesterday, you were all day yesterday, actually the whole week, describe your week, like all the tasks that we had to get done to have a good marketing and clean house at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, it started 3 weeks ago where I started calling my database and people in my database who I thought would be interested in this type of thing, and offering them either free tickets or discount tickets, or just telling them about it. So that's a lot of calls.
Were you targeting certain people like
Absolutely.
that were like, we're looking for a house, or
Absolutely, people who have called me about land listings, people who I know are wanting to build a house now or in the future, and people who like modern, who I know like modern and have. And
we had we had 8 free tickets, so that was kind of the idea too, is you were going to give out some free tickets.
Yeah, we had 8 free, and they were really easy to give away.
Oh yeah, so here's how easy they were to give away. She emails me 2 days before. She's like, by the way, I gave away 7 of the 8 tickets. I'm like, hey, no problem. I'll give away 1. And I don't even know if the one lady who I gave it to came today. I'm not sure, but it was literally today at 10:30 a.m. is when I gave mine away.
Oh, really?
Because she posted on. We ran a Facebook ad on F9, and she shared it once and then shared it again, and then I said, "Oh, yeah, you won." That messaged her.
See, and I gave away so many tickets because people were really interested, and I was accidentally talking about the tickets, and I realized, and then after I gave away 3 more, I realized, I already gave away 4. So anyways, 4 of the 7 people came who I gave tickets away to.
Mm-hmm. And they're not cheap. They were like $44.50 each.
Yeah.
They were like seriously expensive tickets.
They were.
To do it.
So yeah, and so I think people were happy to receive those. So that was great to build my business, and just another, I call them like a touch on my database or my clients, to offer something of value to people who are my clients or potential clients. So that was 3 weeks ago when we started that.
And one thing I want to interject here is, so if everybody listens to Mark LePage's podcast, the Entree Architect podcast, I know you do because you listen to this podcast. So when Marilyn talks about her database, This is something I was listening to a podcast last weekend in our house, and you go, are you listening to a real estate podcast?
Yeah.
'Cause this sounds like a real estate podcast. And why she said that is because Mark talked about, so this is EA 240. So if you go to Entree Architect, if you look up his podcast episode number 240, it's called How to Get Referrals Without Asking Podcast. It sounded like a real estate podcast because they talked about this database that you have.
Right.
So tell everybody about, because I think every architect or business owner who's listening to this podcast, a lot of should have a database. I don't have one, and I was telling you about it, and you were like, yeah, I don't know 100% how you don't have one. So tell us about how you've built your database and how you utilize it.
Sure. Well, it's called a CRM, Client Resource Management. And so
is that like a piece of software?
It's software that I pay a monthly fee for.
How much do you pay?
I pay for that in conjunction with a website with a lot of other services, such as we call it IDX feeds. You can search the MLS on my website. I pay $120 a month for that.
Is the idea though behind the CRM software? Then you can send it like a mass email instead of copying and pasting out of a spreadsheet. Like it's a more streamlined way to do it. You can track your emails. I
can see who opened my emails. I can send you listings from the MLS. Everyone's on my newsletter, different newsletters depending on what neighborhood you live in or what your needs are.
The part of that package is called CRM.
Client.
What? Say it again.
Client Resource Management.
So I think I'm sure people could just Google it.
Yeah,
they could go like Client Resource Management. I bet there's an app or something they could like. Maybe they don't need the full package like yours.
There should be different packages. And the great thing in that is whenever I talk to someone, I record my notes. So I record what the date that I talk to them and what their needs are, and I can make a reminder that I'm going to talk to them again in 2 weeks or whenever we decided. Yeah, so that's my what I call my database, but it's really a CRM, and that is really the backbone of my business because I'm working by referral only and exclusively. I stopped advertising this year.
Exactly, which is why I recommend you got to listen to that podcast of Mark's too, in addition to this one, because I think you'll have the full picture and then a piece of software now to try to find and make this happen for yourself.
Right. And I write down things like, one kid who plays soccer or going on vacation to Mexico next spring. So I can keep everyone straight. And then when I call them, I always have something to talk about with them that's personal as opposed to just business. And that is so necessary to make those personal connections. Otherwise it's dry and it's not even fun to get on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have those notes so I can keep everyone straight.
Yeah.
I think I have about 580 people in my database, and I've been working on this for 7 years. Well, and hard on it for about 4 years.
Hard on it for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like it has been okay. Interesting. Yeah. So you started that 3 weeks ago. Then what was next?
Right. Oh my gosh. Then getting our house in shape. So we, so many chores involved with that, but it looked great.
Yeah. Did the pillows didn't come?
Ordered things from Amazon that didn't come. Right?
I just thought of that right now.
They didn't.
Yeah. There was the pillows for our couch are an issue. It's just hard to find them to match it. We didn't have time to, I don't know. It's just, anyway, then there's all kinds of stuff to like, we had to, just think of everything in a house that you've lived in for 2 years that's just gotten a little shabby. Rugs, the stupid plastic containers underneath, the plants, all kinds of little stuff to fix, like going around the yard. And then we hired a cleaner. Mm-hmm. Hired a cleaner to come in. So you're with them all day yesterday.
Yeah, hired the cleaner. Yeah, and so our garage looks like there's all our stuff in our garage. And then it
looks even worse than usual.
It looks like we don't even live in our house. Looks like a hotel right now.
If Jordan Peterson went in there, his head would explode. Clean your garage.
But nobody went in our garage, so that there was off limits. So our house looks fantastic.
It does. We don't even have to clean tomorrow on Sunday. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, we haven't talked about how many people came.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Then there was the marketing material, right?
Yes.
So this is here's another reason why I'm having my wife on this podcast right now, who is my realtor and has done this routinely, is because then she has these cool little. What are these little stands you had? Like I don't think architects would do this if they did this in a house. That's why. What are those stands? Like just marketing leaflets or something like that?
Well, I don't know what you call those, but yeah, they hold three it's like a magazine stand.
Yeah,
sort of,
it's like a little
smaller.
temporary magazine stand.
Yeah.
So we wrote up like a short little bio, and on my side was there was a picture of the development we're working on, Mark II, up top, and then the side was my picture and contact information, and then on the right hand side of that was all of like a little spiel about who we are and what we do and why you should hire us, kind of thing. Same thing with Marilyn. Top was our house, her contact information, and then her accolades and experience as a realtor. So we had those set out, but then there was other stuff like we were very generous, which I think is you should do this for open houses, or if you're on a modern home tour, is you should have, this is probably something that wasn't at the other houses. I don't think it probably was, like hors d'oeuvres. I bet it wasn't. If you think about it.
No, but that's my open house training, is just make it a small party. So we had...
Because you want people to linger and hang out, right? And they open up after a while.
They were thankful. So that, drinks, and I had information about lots and land for sale around the county, and even modern homes that were for sale. And
then one extra thing we did is we made a little postcard, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a free seminar on how to build a custom home. Because that's what we really want, is both of us wanted more than anything, is like clients that want to do we're trying to piggyback off of, this is a custom home, we built it. Now we're going to bring you into the house a couple weeks later, show you how you can find land. Here's all the parcels that are available right now, or something like this. We'll figure it out. And then here's the process and how it works, do's, don'ts, all that kind of stuff. So we had a little postcard that we handed out to them, and they could RSVP to. So we had all that together. How many people came?
110.
Gotta be close. It was over 100 for sure.
Yeah.
We were absolutely floored. So I was running around. The showings started at 10. 11. I left the house at like 10:15 to go drop off my kids, and then go pick up some extra hors d'oeuvres and everything. I got there 5 minutes before 11, and there were people already going in and out, and I was like, "Holy cow! This is amazing." And then it was the nonstop, steady stream until the last hour. It was phenomenal.
It was nonstop. It was incredible. I wasn't expecting that at all. So that was terrific. And a lot of people came in through either your Facebook ad or the Modern Home Tour Facebook ad.
Yeah.
So that worked.
Yeah, because I asked people all kinds of questions, and there was it was interesting watching you with your lead-in questions.
Uh-huh.
And your lead-in question that I saw most often was, so is there anything in particular you're looking for on the tour? Like, it was just a kind of a soft kind of question. Like, it wasn't a hard sales question. Open-ended, yep. And then, I watched it several times, and you actually led people sometimes over to me because of it.
Yeah.
Because then you would point to him and say oh, well, we're going to do this or that, or my husband is an architect and he does this. Because they would say all kinds of stuff. Like, one guy was there and he owns a bunch of properties in Boulder, and he's like, well, just looking for ideas because I'm thinking about maybe pulling the pop top on these, because Boulder's maybe in that situation. There's no more land to build on. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Some people were looking to build a house.
Yeah, a few of them were, maybe half a dozen, or maybe.
I think there was a half a dozen people there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. I mean, that's really who we really wanted to meet.
Yeah,
they want to build a house.
Yeah, so I highly recommend if you ever build your own house, especially as an architect, and your wife is by chance a realtor too, somehow get on one of these tours. Because even another impressive thing, besides the numbers that kind of blew us away, was the caliber of the people that were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their response to all your artwork, who else appreciates that, Normally.
Very few people appreciate my artwork, and I was just absolutely tickled that so many people appreciate it. And there's two pieces of artwork that are pretty much replicas or copies of Clifford Still artwork, and they recognized it. And it was a very curious group of people. I mean, intellectually curious group of people who really wanted to know about architecture and all the details of the house. So, a high caliber group of people that were friendly and and good to have in our house.
Yeah.
And good potential clients.
There were people that were, it was an amazing range of people too, from them. So I would say be prepared for a huge range of, some people were just like, oh, a lot of them were there for ideas. Like, I was kind of blown away. It wasn't like, I expected most of the people to come there for their architecture lovers. Literally, like, they're just nerds. That's the only reason I would go on that tour. But that's from my perspective.
Yeah.
That, I just love to see architecture and go around and check it out, right?
That was a lot of people, too.
It was a good amount, but it wasn't all of them.
Right.
Yeah, so there were some people that were like, one group I met, one couple I met, they had a house in Steamboat that they were going to remodel. And I go, oh, how significant a remodel? And like, pretty significant. And I go, oh, well, let me give you a card. I'd love to work with you guys and see if we can do something together. Give me a call, stuff like that. Then there was that one couple who they were like, oh yeah, we're looking for land right now. This is what we want to do. That whole range. Then there was and the more I talk and think about this, like, man, I think we generated 6 to 12 solid. I know I have 6 to 12 solid 12 leads.
Yeah, I would say I have 3 to 4 and you have 6 to 12.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you gave anyone a good tip? I mean, when people were just looking for ideas, did you feel you gave anyone a really good idea?
That's interesting.
To take home and use?
For like their house?
Yeah.
No.
So many people wanted good ideas.
What? Tell me about this. Like, what did they would...
We're just looking for ideas. We're building a house or remodeling. We're just looking for ideas. And it was so vague. I didn't really know where to start, but I tried to say, well, what kind of ideas?
I see. I didn't even go down that road with them.
And they would just say, oh, just ideas.
The only good idea I gave was the guy who they already built the second custom house for themselves. With our builder, even.
Yes, those people, And
those people, and they like the garden. The guy geeked out over the gardens and my gardens in the back, garden beds.
Oh yeah,
it's the only good idea I gave that guy.
Your gardens are pretty phenomenal. I tell everyone, my husband's the gardener. I'm just lucky.
Oh,
I get to eat.
You know what was awesome was everybody kept saying she doesn't give her. Multiple people told me this because what I would say is like, I would pitch. That's kind of the big thing I was pitching the whole time was because I think it shows a strong sign of like strength that of being open to collaboration.
Yes.
So I would say like, oh yeah, this is a collaborative effort with my wife, and it was right. And I told the truth. Like I did the structure, I did the general layout and everything, and how it was going to look overall, and then my wife did the interior design, my wife did the exterior material design and the landscape architecture, and yet you could just see them like roped in at that point.
That's true. They were really fascinated with that dynamic.
They were fascinated with that dynamic, and then it was just like cherries on top, and I'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, she did all this artwork too, and they're like, well, why isn't she giving herself enough credit? She needs to give herself some.
There was a few people saying
absolutely,
that.
And they were like, "Oh my god, you guys are like a talented couple."
That is so funny. Yeah, that's right. There's a few people saying that, and I was very flattered by that. And there were also a few people who were surprised that somehow a couple could build a house together and remain a couple.
Oh, right? Really?
There were a few people. There's a lot of jokes about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are still together, right?
Right.
After
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This one's gonna last forever or something. They would say.
I'm not used to hearing those jokes all the time, but
they're funny.
Yeah. So that was surprising. I was kind of pleasantly surprised all day.
Exactly. It was a pleasant surprise all day. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, there was something else I was gonna ask you about being surprised all day. I don't know. It was cool. It was an interesting experience. I don't know how you could do it. I don't know how you could replicate it. You know what I mean? That's the hard part. Is like, wow, what a unique. How else? What do you got to build another custom house and hopefully get selected again?
I know.
The only time to do it.
I know.
What a great opportunity!
On another tour. We need to be doing this like 4 times a year.
Yeah. It was such a high caliber of level of people from the standpoint of like intellect and purchase power. and even the organizer kind of let us know at the end. That's,
Yes.
he started telling us, he was like, I'm happy to share demographics with you too. The levels of income that you're working with here and stuff like that. I can't think of a better way. That's the most in-person, you should know, that is the most in-person marketing I've done maybe in the history of F9 in one day.
Wow. Yeah, right. And that's how I do so much of my marketing. That's where I get a lot of clients, is from that in-person open house experience where they walk in the door, boom, they're in my face. I'm going to win them over and try to in a minute or two, but just really win them over by being myself, by being open and relaxed and low key like I am, and get them, just see if I can help them. What can I help them with? And that's what I was telling a lot of people. I try to tell them that, well, thanks for coming. We're here to serve you. If you have any architecture needs or real estate needs, we're here to help you with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just doing what they want, even though they came to see our house, but it's about them and their needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One lady gave her a hug at the end.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't even know, because we just hit it off with this couple. They were just like really fun. They were just good people. You could tell they had a good vibe.
Yeah,
and
she was a real estate agent, and I was like, but you don't have to work with me, just work with my husband. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to use me as your agent.
Yeah, yeah. Lance put his foot in his mouth. He started pitching. I started pitching Marilyn. Didn't know that the other one was a realtor.
Right, yeah.
For their house.
Yeah, but I think we joked around with people a lot, and everyone had a really good time. And a lot of people, I was surprised at how interested people were in the feng shui.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. So if you ever do this, maybe you're an architect or a designer or a realtor listening to this podcast, and if you're the realtor and somehow your house gets put on one of these modern home tours or these special home tours, could even be like a historical home tour, I don't know, and then the house is for sale, or you're an architect and the same thing happens, right? Expect what I didn't expect, which is these are like a higher level of like inquiry into the design philosophy behind the house. I was not expecting that one at all. Like, they wanted to know, tell me about the theory. Like, what kind of informed your design decisions? Like, stuff that I remember getting asked in school about it. And then maybe that's why you started to remember like all the little things about the house you've lived in for 2 years that you forgot. Me too. Me too, though.
Yeah, I did forget a lot. I remembered after the first half hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really interested in the feng shui, and I think they were interested in meeting an architect and a designer and what goes on in your brain, and they want to relate to that.
Yeah,
and that's part of the experience.
Because I'm not sure. We didn't go to any of the other houses because obviously we were showing our house, but so I don't know if there were other architects at the other ones explaining that. So maybe that's why. And here's the other thing. So maybe like at the end of the tour, so the people who saw our house at the end of the tour, maybe then they were like, oh, great, the architect. I get to talk to the architect.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even at the beginning, it still doesn't matter. Like, wow, the architect. And then maybe if they were, so some, like half the crowd started at our house.
Yeah.
Who came and like, so maybe 50 people started at our house, and then they went to the other houses, and then the other half did the opposite, and our house is the last house for them. Mm-hmm. I bet if that's true, if I was the only architect at one of the houses, the people who saw our house first, I bet they were disappointed at the other houses.
Oh, I bet they were.
There's not an architect here. Quit.
Right, well, a lot of people they don't talk to architects every day.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's a big deal.
Also, if you decide to wear a CU shirt, University of Colorado shirt, the day that you're showing that, or another kind of shirt, make sure you watch the game or have some idea about the game. I had no idea about the game, and all the bros wanted to bro out. And what about the game? You watched it? I didn't watch that.
That
tangential.
Was highly disappointing.
I thought you were going to try to market your art.
I had that idea that I wanted to, and then I got shy about it.
That's cool.
Because that's not really the main reason.
I know.
The only reason I thought I would do that is because a lot of people were telling me who've seen pictures of my art.
Yeah.
Usually like,
online.
You should sell that.
Right.
And
people say that.
That's not my goal is to sell my art.
I tried to pitch it a few times to a few people.
Yeah.
You saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could buy it.
I know. I didn't put price tags on it or anything, but just to tell you guys, it's huge. One piece is 8 by 15
huge.
feet. Another one is 4 feet by 9, and another one is 8 feet by 4.
Giant art.
So yeah, it's not the kind of art you just pick off the shelf and take home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool conversations though. It was exhausting for me. Marilyn is not exhausted. I am tired. I can't wait for a glass of wine. We're going to go out to eat after this. We're celebrating after this because we did not expect anybody, and we said if over 50 people come, we'll go out to eat.
And then I am celebrating, but I'm not done. Because what I'm going to do...
Oh, perfect. Let's lead into follow-up. What happens from here?
This is my follow-up, and this is how I work my real estate business. I buy a lot of thank you notes. I mean, in bulk. So I'm going to write everyone who came a thank you note.
Handwritten
Thank you note. I'll include my business
This is
card.
also on Mark LePage's podcast, his recommendation.
And it'll say something like, thank you for coming to our home. Maybe I enjoyed meeting you. And it will say, if I can... okay, let me tell you how I'm going to word this. If you or anyone you know has any real estate needs in now or in the future, I'm here to serve you, or some version of that, and that'll be a handwritten note because when you see that, people open handwritten notes. They never throw them away. At least that'll be just another way to connect, and also a follow up email too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, but in order to do that, though, right, people have to do. We missed one critical part here, and that is with this particular home tour that we hosted at our house. We had a host.
Yes.
And it was provided by this this modern home tour.
Yeah.
These modern home tour folks. He was great. We lucked out, and because he was very soft in the way he would get people to do this sign-up sheet. And did you make the sign-up sheet? That wasn't a typical thing, right?
No.
Okay, perfect. See, we missed that part. So this is a critical part. So make sure somebody that if you're doing this, you have a sign-up sheet, right? And when it had just name, first name, last name, address, email, phone number. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I've noticed is if you just have blank lines, when I do open houses on your sign-up sheet, people will write just stuff like their first name and like the street they live on or something. Like they'll write nothing that you can follow up with.
You need instructions.
They need instructions.
You need instructions.
Yep. And they needed our host who they got there early, and so I had a conversation with him about why I do this and how this is different, and he was fine with it. And so he had the job of having to make people feel comfortable enough with him that they would sign this sign-up sheet and give their name, address, email, phone number. And it's one of the most completely filled out sign-up sheets I've had in comparison to other open houses.
Yeah, I'm so happy about it. Yeah. So then yes, there's a follow-up. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the handwritten. I'll do them separately, right?
I don't know. We could think about that.
You think we can maybe do it together?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Sure. That's good. And then the other thing we did is like Marilyn had a good point when we were meeting people. She was like, "Oh, we need to write like that person." So I'll give you an example. One person had this special lot in Boulder where apparently they could subdivide it and build another house. She was like, "You need to make sure you mark it down like Boulder house, potential lead, something."
Oh yeah.
So you're targeting that person in maybe a different way. Like that one's or like the people who are seriously looking for land, for me.
Those are essentially like notes I'll put in my database. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to make sure that you got those too for the ones that were just plain architecture.
The other unique group that we had come in was a lead that Marilyn and I have been working on together for about a year. Almost a year, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a year. I feel like they called me about this time last year, like close to it, October, November.
Yeah.
So they're looking for land and they want to build a new custom house. And I finally got to meet them in person. You've already met the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we finally met the whole family and everything. Hit it off really well. And I think like how much more can you impress a client to bring them into your house if it's, a nice custom house? and they want to build it. Could have been more of a layup. So I hope it excites them about like, yes, oh, come on, we want to get going now.
I hope so.
I've been wanting
too.
that commission forever.
I know you do, and I think they're going to build an amazing house when they do. Yeah, and I think that was really an easy way for them not to have a come into my office and meet me meeting. It was just like, here's some tickets, drop by our house sometime on Saturday.
Yep.
Bring the kids.
That was one of my most pleasant surprises today. Was great, because I didn't even remember you did that you gave them free tickets for it.
Yeah.
So it worked out really well.
It did.
The other unique one was there were 3 young boys, like adolescents, that wanted to be architects.
Yeah.
They were on the tour, and they wanted to be architects. So I did not expect that one.
Oh, they were wonderful, too. 3 different families came, led by their sons, pretty much.
Yeah.
Who wanted to see architecture and meet an architect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. That was cool.
That was perfect for you, talking to them about teaching at CU, too.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It was a layup.
Yeah.
All in all. So, okay. How about, so the next thing is you follow up with handwritten notes, right? And you already kind of told us what happens after that. So you follow up, then what do you do? What is your typical strategy?
Then I'll send them an email. Well, this is atypical, but yeah, I think I'll send them the people who I know are looking for land. I'll put them on an automated email search where I send them new land listings that come up that they might be interested in. Also, I will probably send out a thank you email for coming and say, how will I phrase this? Something like I'll be at it. I'll put you on my monthly newsletter to stay in touch. If that's not okay, let me know.
Yeah.
Something like that, I think, so that I can stay in touch, and then follow up through that, just so they don't lose touch with me. So people remember you, but then they have no idea how to get in touch with you, even because they throw out your business card.
They throw out your business card. I know.
I throw out everybody's too.
Yeah. Well, I put it in what I call my database, and it's usually, I have an email and I archive all my emails. I will search in my emails until I find them again.
Yeah,
somewhere.
and that's why
terrible. It's terrible.
That's why I have my email newsletter, because I know that's how I work too, and a lot of people work that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's the follow-up, and reminding people about our seminar, and I think we could remind every single person who came about our seminar.
That would be a good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then ask them, if you know anybody else, tell your friends. The other thing is, I think all of a sudden I found we kind of both did, like a partner to be able to disseminate that information. And that is the host, the original, the Boulder home tour people. Because he said, if you at the end, if you want me to help you promote, I think it would be a great idea if we could see if they can promote our little seminar.
Yes.
And we do something limited, like you said, we just limit it to like 12 people, because that's all we could literally host anyway in our, that dining room, something like that.
That's a great idea to have them.
If we can get 12 people,
us.
Oh my God, think about it. If we can get 12 people, 6 couples looking seriously to that seminar, man, I have just lined up F9 on the custom side for a year. I'm not joking. That would be huge. That would be terrific.
Yeah.
And you too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For land sales or even not land sales, just for the referrals. I don't want anyone to move. I just want them to give me referrals if they know someone who's moving.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else to add. I think that kind of wraps it up as far as a follow up. I mean, you just kind of go from there, right? Like, do you do intervals for follow ups? So, like, let's say you emailed on Monday, which is not going to happen. But if you did, do you do every 3 months? Like, do you have a set thing, or is it just kind of play by ear because maybe they've interacted with you between then?
You know what? I pretty much follow up with people until they tell me not to. And they have to tell me not to 2 to 3 times.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a monthly newsletter, but that's not personal. I will play it by ear and just keep following up with the most interested people. So I'm not really sure yet. I think the newsletter, and then I'll be checking in by email, and I'll check in by phone too, just to really see if there's anything I can do for them by phone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that would just be with that group, no more than probably once this month. And then people will be on a different list. If they say we don't have any needs, maybe I'll follow up with them like once every 6 months.
Okay.
And if they do have some needs, once a month again.
Yeah.
But they're just not sure when their timing is.
Sure. Okay, that all sounds reasonable. Yeah, so I would recommend anybody who has the opportunity to do what we did today, do it. It was great. And you might not have the turnout that we did, but go into it with low expectations, like we did. And then everything is gravy after that, and it seems like it's just I'm excited. I think like I've never had this kind of opportunity to be in front of that many people and physically showcase your stuff, except for the tiny house. And that actually led to a couple clients as well. When we did that on Main Street, and we put it up on Main Street.
Right. Yeah. So this was a terrific opportunity. I would recommend it to anyone too. Also.
Awesome. Okay. We will see you next week. Back with Al.